Hi, welcome to Cooking with Insightful Nana. Today we're going to bake fudge brownies. Now this recipe is a large recipe and it's been in our family for about 40 years. The reason I like this recipe, it calls for ingredients that you have in your kitchen. There is no fancy chocolate syrup or fancy chocolate. It just takes ingredients that you have in your kitchen. Plus, it does a large pan. Out of this pan I get about 60 brownies. Usually brownie recipes are quite small, but this is a cooking for a crowd recipe and I think you'll enjoy it, and the brownies are absolutely delicious. We're going to divide our ingredients into two categories. Our first category will be the flour, 2 3/4 cup of flour, 1 cup of cocoa, 1 1/2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 1/2 teaspoons of salt. The other category will be the sugar, which will be 3 cups of sugar, 1 cup of melted shortening, 6 eggs, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Before we get too much further, we need to preheat our oven. And we're going to preheat our oven to 300, not 350. 300 degrees. We will now combine our dry ingredients. There's 2 3/4 cup of flour. Here we have a 1.5 teaspoons of salt and 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. And we have 1 cup of cocoa. Sift or mix your dry ingredients together real well so they're well blended. You can use a sifter. I just like to use a wire whip and make sure that all the ingredients are combined together well. The next ingredients I'm going to combine in this large bowl. Since this is a little larger recipe for brownies than usual, I'm using quite a large bowl here. I've placed our 3 cups of sugar in the bowl. Now we're going to melt our shortening. This is 1 cup of shortening. I'm going to put this in the microwave and melt the shortening. Okay, let's see if our shortening is melted. Yes, it's now melted. That took about 1.5 minutes. Now we're going to pour the melted shortening right on top of the sugar. Okay, we've added our 6 eggs and 1 teaspoon of vanilla to our sugar mixture, and we're going to mix this well. So this is entirely blended. Now we're going to add our dry ingredients to our sugar and egg mixture. Just a little bit of dry ingredients at a time and make sure that it's blended well. And it will start to get quite thick. I just finished the rest of the dry ingredients into the mixture. Now I'm not adding nuts to this. My family doesn't prefer nuts, and so I leave the nuts out. But if you want to add nuts, then make sure that it's mixed well before you add your nuts, and I'd add just about 3/4 cup of chopped nuts. When you're finished mixing, you'll have a heavy batter. Now the pan I'm going to put these in is a 12 by 17 pan. This is a professional cookie sheet. They call it a half sheet, but it does real well for these brownies. I've put a light coating of shortening on the pan so the brownies won't stick. They'll come out of the pan easily. Now that we've put our batter into the pan, we'll spread this heavy, thick batter evenly throughout the pan. Okay, we've got our batter spread and we're ready to pop these brownies in our oven that we preheated at 300 degrees, and we'll check them in about 25 minutes. Our timer has gone off and we're going to check these by taking a toothpick and putting it in the center and see if it comes out clean. And I think we're done. This took 5 minutes longer than I thought, and so it took just about 30 minutes. You don't want to overbake these brownies, so watch the time real closely on this. We'll set them up here and allow them to cool. Now they're ready to frost. It's cool, and we're going to frost this. You can use your own frosting or you can use purchased frosting. I'm going to use some purchased frosting. Part of my family likes a white frosting. The other half of the family likes the chocolate frosting. So we're going to do half with chocolate and half with the white cream cheese frosting. Okay, we're going to cut it. We've cut this into about 2-inch squares, which on this size of the pan will give you about 60 brownies. Thank you for joining me with Cooking with Insightful Nana. Come to insightfulnana.com and see this recipe and other recipes. We have lots of tips on homemaking and how-tos, so join me at insightfulnana.com. Till later.